Horses, who doesn't love them? They were originally man's best friend. In fact, they were the first animal we considered our best friends. Ancient cultures used horses to ride into battle, and they were known as war animals. Today, they are known for something entirely different, and that is mostly horse racing. Horse racing is a popular sport, mostly in Japan, but it is all around across the world popular. Its popularity only increased with the release of Umamusame Pretty Derby, an anime/video game made to honor the sport of horse racing and reinvigorate the love people had for it. In America, another horse-related show took culture by storm many years before Umamusame's release, and that show was My Little Pony. Both shows are beloved for their fun horse-like characters, their colorful atmospheres, and how comedic both shows can be. Hello everyone, I'm Dusty. This episode marks my 10th episode of my power scaling series. For that reason, I want to do something funny today. So I'll be taking some of, if not the most popular characters from Umamusame and My Little Pony, and putting them in the battle arena. Those characters are the chaotic Goldship and the colorful Rainbow Dash. Today I'll be comparing these characters' stats to see who the superior fighter is. I'll be looking at their strength, speed, durability, and IQ, as well as their abilities, to determine who would win this very chaotic battle. Before we get to that, we need to talk about their backstories, starting with Goldship. Goldship is one of the many characters from the popular anime/video game Umamusame Pretty Derby. Goldship is based on a real-life retired racehorse of the same name. Goldship is a free-spirited, unpredictable horse girl, or in Japanese known as an Umamusame, known for her eccentric personality and mischievous antics. She's part of Team Spica, along with Daiwa Scarlet, Vodka, Special Week, Tokai Teo, Kita-san Black, Majuro McQueen, and Silent Suzuka. Together, these Umas train together to race in competitive race horses, as well as in horse races. Goldship ran these races alongside her friends until her final race in Season 4, where Goldship retired from racing, just like her real-life counterpart. However, unlike her real-life counterpart, she stuck around and cheered on her friends from the sidelines, even in her retirement. However, that's not where her story ends. It's how it ends in Umamusame, but she's also in another video game by the name of Granblue Fantasy, where she takes a new name, Goldship. Goldship is a weather-manipulating god who is so strong she is considered one of the strongest characters in the entire game. Overall, Goldship became so popular that not only did she become the face of Umamusame, but also helped in bringing back the love people had for horse racing and making its popularity skyrocket. Rainbow Dash is one of the main protagonists in the hit children's show My Little Pony. Rainbow Dash grew up in Cloudsdale, which is a city made entirely of clouds. Rainbow Dash trained herself to be the fastest flyer in all of Equestria. Ever since she was a child, she was competitive and bold, always aiming to prove herself. As an adult, she became a proud member of the Weather Patrol in Ponyville and eventually the Wonderbolts. However, her favorite place to be is alongside her friends in the main six, where she would eventually be given the title of the embodiment of loyalty. So now that you know who these characters are, let's get to the main attraction, their stats. Today, I will be deciding who the stronger fighter is by comparing all of the stats I talked about previously. Let's begin by talking about their strength, starting with Goldship. As is nature of being an Uma, Goldship is very physically strong. She should be comparable to other Umas like Kawakami Princess, who was able to split an oven in two with just her own physical strength. Goldship is also capable of reducing large boulders to ash with single punches, as we see Rice Shower capable of doing. We can use math to determine that Goldship can punch with 483,215,702 joules, or over 3 million pounds of force. So Goldship is very physically strong and would scale from athlete to wall levels of strength. However, as Goldship, she is on an entirely different level. Goldship was a raid boss in the game Granblue, so she would scale around or even higher than the main cast of characters in Granblue. Goldship can create large meteors that have an explosive output capable of destroying a country and even higher. However, these meteors are also capable of damaging and dealing great damage to the main protagonist of Granblue, who is unnamed but is referred to as the Captain, who would scale to complex multiversal due to being able to defeat the 10 Eternals, and also being able to fight Ultimate Bahamut, who was able to destroy countless timelines and entire dimensions. I'm not even joking. Goldship / Goldship would scale to complex multiversal due to being able to fight Captain and arguably being even stronger than them. It's also been stated that Goldship is the strongest Umamusame, so any feat the other Umas have, Goldship would be above all of those feats. So Goldship in her base form would scale to wall level, but Goldship would, no joke, scale to complex multiversal. Rainbow Dash is a very strong character. She was able to fight Red Dragon, whose yawns could level entire mountains. However, her best feat of strength is when she unleashed her first ever Sonic Rain Boom as a child, which she was capable of clearing skies throughout all of Equestria. The energy and explosive force needed to do this, with quick math, would scale Rainbow Dash to country levels of strength. Although, if Rainbow Dash uses the elements of harmony, she would reach multiversal levels of power due to being able to overpower Nightmare Moon, who is considered one of the strongest forces of magic in the entire franchise. However, she needs the other elements and her friends to use the power of the elements of harmony to its fullest. However, just for fun, I will be giving Rainbow Dash the full power of the elements of harmony, which means Rainbow Dash would scale to multiversal levels of strength. So who's stronger? At a baseline, Rainbow Dash would be far stronger than Goldship, due to the fact that Goldship has never really shown country levels of strength in the anime or game, just like Rainbow Dash's Sonic Rainbow. However, at both of their full powers, so Rainbow Dash with the elements of harmony and Goldship, Goldship takes strength pretty easily. While Rainbow Dash is extremely strong with the elements of harmony, Goldship being stronger, or at least relative to the Captain, would make her leagues above Rainbow Dash's full power. So Goldship takes strength. Now let's talk about speed. Umas like Goldship can run at speeds to 50 to 60 kilometers, or 31 to 37 miles per hour, as stated by multiple sources, even other Umas like Eric Ruve. We also see that they can keep up with moving cars moving at around these speeds, so those statements are further backed up. However, there is a speed feat that can get Goldship even faster before factoring in Goldship. I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to tell me what you think it is. Alright, here it is. So what do you think this is? Well, this is Agnes Tachyon, another Uma, breaking the very fabric of reality for a few seconds with her speed alone. Yes, this is an actual scene from the Umamusame anime. And as I said earlier, Goldship has been stated of being the strongest Uma. But not only is she the strongest, in the universe of Umamusame, strength would also equal speed, so she would also be faster than this, meaning she's faster than Agnes Tachyon. This gives Goldship infinite speeds. I'm not even kidding. However, even if you don't want to use that feat, Goldship is much faster than even that. Like I've said a few times now, Goldship is either stronger or relative to the captain, but in this case, she's also faster or just as equally fast. The captain can be scaled to having immeasurable speed feats due to the fact that they can scour the entire multiverse across time and reality to connect to every version of themselves at every single point in time. What? Goldship was also able of fighting the captain without being outsped or overwhelmed, showing that they're mostly on equal footing when it comes to speed. So, yeah, she would have this level of speed, if not a little higher. So base Goldship would have infinite speeds if we're going to take the statements of Goldship being the strongest and fastest Uma literally. And at her full power as Goldship, she would have immeasurable speeds. Rainbow Dash is one of, if not the fastest character in the My Little Pony universe. She's able to fly very easily, faster than lightning. And she even broke the sound barrier on multiple occasions. Rainbow Dash's best speed feat comes from her Sonic Rain Boom, which would get her to faster than light speeds, or FTL. However, that is only a base speed for her. Using the elements of harmony, you can get her speeds to infinite due to the magic that the elements give Rainbow Dash. So at a baseline, Rainbow Dash would have FTL speeds, and with the elements, she would have infinite speeds. So despite being the fastest pony in Equestria, Goldship is so much faster. In fact, Rainbow Dash at her maximum speed ties base Goldship in terms of speed. Not even Goldship, base Goldship. So yeah, Rainbow Dash, while fast, can't even keep up or even be in the same league as Goldship when it comes to speed, even with the elements of harmony. Now let's talk about durability. Goldship doesn't have any durability feats in the Umamusame materials, such as the anime or the game, unless you want to count her being relative to the other Umas who can take pretty decent hits, but nothing too memorable. So let's just go to Goldship. Goldship's durability would be relative to her strength in terms that she could fight the captain, who, like I said earlier, scales to complex multiversal. So since she doesn't have many other feats to combat this, her baseline durability could potentially just only be wall level, but at her full power as Goldship, she would have complex multiversal levels of durability. Rainbow Dash is pretty durable in her own right. She was able to survive Red Dragon's yawns, which, like I said earlier, could level mountains. She was also able to survive the epicenter of an explosion that covered the entirety of Ponyville in snow, which the energy with that attack would equal a country-level durability feat. With the elements of harmony, her durability could be boosted all the way to multiversal. Because, like I said, the Nightmare Moon thing. So at base, Rainbow Dash would have country levels of durability. And with the elements of harmony, she would have around multiversal levels of durability. Goldship would take the edge in durability as well. Despite having fewer durability feats, the one that she has is more impressive than what Rainbow Dash can pull off. Sure, with the elements, Rainbow Dash can take very heavy blows. It still pales in comparison to what Goldship had to survive through. We are almost at the end, with 2 more stats remaining. Let's move on to their IQ. Goldship at face value comes off as, well, an idiot. She is chaotic and that's literally who she is. She's a being of chaos who is always finding ways to injure herself in some way. Like that time she punctured her eye on a kebab stick. However, in reality, she is a lot smarter than she comes across. Umamusame are remarkably versatile, excelling as both athletes and idols. and they often devise and use varieties of strategies to enhance their maneuverability mid-races. And at the speeds they run, that is very impressive that they can think of such strategies pretty much on the fly. Goldship in particular is adept at psychology and trivia questions, or trivia quizzes. So, Goldship is pretty smart. However, there is also one more thing Goldship has that adds to her intelligence, and that is an awareness of the fourth wall. She seemingly knows of our existence and references to several other medias such as Star Wars and Dragon Ball. We see this on the YouTube channel Bakatube. Here, have a look.
Presentation. I'm good at presentation. Bakatube! 来ました One Bang 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 Boom Boom Bakatube ご清聴
This fourth wall breaking tendency is something that all Umas have, but no one does it in Umamusame better than Goldship. So overall, Goldship is a very intelligent character, despite her very chaotic and idiotic personality. Rainbow Dash is in the same boat as Goldship in the sense where at face value she doesn't seem very intelligent due to her boldness and cockiness. However, she's not dumb, and while not a super genius like Twilight Sparkle is, she isn't dumb. And besides that, she doesn't really have any intelligence feats showing above average IQ, but none showing below average, so at best I'll say she has average IQ. So this stat surprised me, but Goldship would take intelligence. Rainbow Dash just doesn't have any feats of intelligence to really contest Goldship in this regard. Meanwhile, Goldship is a master at trivia quizzes, and she's also a very good strategist mid-race, which would equate to very fast strategy making mid-combat. So before I come to the conclusion on who wins, we need to talk about their final stat, their abilities. Goldship in her base form doesn't really have any remarkable abilities besides the fourth wall breaking ability I just talked about, and superhuman characteristics like heightened strength and speed. However, as Goldship, she has quite a few abilities. Most obvious is that she can manipulate and bend the weather at her own whim, and create hurricanes and powerful winds. She can also create actual meteors to rain down on her opponents. She can also fly and seemingly teleport, but she also might have more abilities than just that, but it's not confirmed. She can also use the Kamehameha, by the way. So, she's Goku 2.0 pretty much. Rainbow Dash has some strong abilities under her belt. Such abilities are air manipulation, flight, weather manipulation, electrical manipulation with lightning, water manipulation via rain, and she can give back stolen speed, as we see that she does to the ponies in Ponyville. She also has resistances to petrification, power nullification, mind manipulation, and reality warping. So yeah, I bet you didn't think Rainbow Dash was this stacked. So who wins? Well, this fight is a one-sided slaughter in Goldship's favor. Goldship literally takes every single stat over Rainbow Dash. And the only one that's even remotely close is speed. And even then it's a wide gap. While yes, both have good abilities, like they both have weather manipulation, Goldship's weather manipulation is far superior than Rainbow Dash's. So Rainbow Dash really just can't combat Goldship at all. So while Rainbow Dash is stronger than base Goldship, she gets absolutely dog-walked by Goldship, and it's not even a debate. Sure, with the Rainbow Dash with all of the elements of harmony is powerful, but Goldship is literally a multiversal threat and a very powerful god. So yeah, the winner for this video is Goldship / Goldship with negative difficulty. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's one I wanted to make for a while because I found it a very funny concept. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, please share to comment down below and I'll read all of your comments. Alright, I'm Dusty signing off. Have a wonderful day.